from Malty, and I think this is our first call ever from our Discord server because it says the location is Discord. Malty, you'll have to tell me if this is true. You're on the air now. I see that you wanted to talk to us about integration of Muslims into Western society, and I'm kind of curious if you could talk to us about that a little more.
Sure. Thank you. And yeah, I'm on your Discord server quite a bit.
All right.
In my local area, we have a neighborhood medical clinic, and one of the posters they put out to try to bring in, there's a large Somali population in my city, to bring in these Muslim women and children, is a picture of a smiling mother and daughter. And I have no problem with that, except the daughter is, 3, 4, 5 years old and is wearing a full headdress. And I find it harmful in that, just in my thinking of, wow, you're putting a veil on a child, but they're also trying to say, hey, you're welcome. And so I was just wondering what your kind of thoughts on that. And so also, I'm a little bit confused about some things that have happened in my life in the past. Maybe you may be able to give me a little more insight into wearing of headdress. And I went into a person's house. I was doing some work with some medical equipment to set up, and the young woman that was helping me translate paperwork and things started out halfway in in burqa, no headdress, and then it was end of Ramadan, so it was pretty hot. We were like 4th floor up in a little apartment, and she comes out then in a pair of shorts and a very loose top, and no headdress, and around a family of people in the house. And it blew my mind from what I thought was Muslim to being in someone's house, in a Muslim house. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on this.
Sorry, you said that this woman was wearing the full headdress. Where? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, two different things. One thing was I was wondering what you guys were thinking of using a child in full covering as a promotional item. The other one, this was not Somali. These were Nigeria. No. From Nigeria? I think so.
Okay.
I came into an apartment to set up some medical equipment. It was very warm in there. And there was a small apartment, a lot of people in there. The person who was helping me translate, when I walked into the place, they were all getting ready to go out for food after the sun went down during Ramadan. So she was getting into full attire. But when I got there, I think because it was so hot, she peeled down to something that was comfortable.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it was so strange from what my interpretation was when I see people outside of the home versus when I see people in the home.
Okay, got ya. So the first one, the Somalian poster, I mean, that, I think we mentioned this before as well, that unfortunately a lot of Muslim families or communities make their young girls wear hijab, and it's become like a cultural thing now. So originally, I mean, technically speaking, when you wear hijab, that basically means you are physically maturing or mature. I don't have to spell it out for you. You got breasts or whatever it is, that kind of stuff. So if a young girl's wearing it, I mean, I know a lot of Muslims don't even like that kind of stuff. But it may be seen as a cultural thing. I am not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of it anyway, but especially when you're putting it on young girls you're sort of taking their innocence away from them, because you're kind of saying, you need to be covered up. And they're like, why? I mean, why? I mean, I'm playing with boys, I'm playing with girls. What's the big deal? So you're just adding another layer of complexity for kids, which they do not need. So I'm very much against that. Now, the second point, I'm going to make a guess here and say that this woman probably wasn't that religious. And when she's at home, she's in front of you, you are a non-Muslim man, unmarried to her. You're not a husband or a brother. She's obviously not that religious, so she's like, whatever, I'm going to wear shorts. But if she's going to maybe like a mosque to break her fast, or she's going to be outside where other family members or friends are going to view her and judge her, then she probably would cover up, because she doesn't want everyone to be like, oh, did you see so-and-so? She was wearing shorts. She wasn't wearing the hijab, or she wasn't wearing this. So that's my guess. And that happens a lot of the time, by the way, when certain women or even men can get away from their local family or their friends or their community. They tend to strip off the hijab, or they stop praying, or they go to a pub or whatever it is, a bar, and they live their lives. So there are many stories within the Muslim community, and I'm sure even within the Christian community, of people living double lives, that when they're with the sort of non-Muslim or the non-Christian, they'll be open or happy. But when they're with their Muslim family or Muslim friends, they tend to wear the religious garb, because they don't want to cause controversy or shame culture, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, Veedu, it sounds like what I know with a lot of Christian people who dress up all nice, go on Sunday, talk about how great their Christian lives are, and then they go and they sleep with their secretary at work or something, like it's just human hypocrisy.
Yeah.
There's not much more of an explanation than that, Especially
Absolutely.
if it's in somebody's home, that's your personal space. That's where you're least likely to be judged, I guess. And maybe they thought you, Malty, as an outsider, you wouldn't say anything about it because, it's not your culture,
Just on that point.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just one last thing on that point, which I think is a very good point. A lot of Muslim women, and this is my mother included, when they come to Western countries, they feel so much more at ease, because they know no one's going to care what they wear. They don't care if you wear a hijab or if you wear a mini skirt. No one cares. When they go to Muslim countries, and even when they're covered up, they still feel like everyone's eyes is on them. They're like, oh, I saw her ankle. Oh, I think your thing's a bit too high. Oh, you meant to cover your chest. Oh, you meant to do. It's honestly like that. So don't take it for granted that in the West you can wear whatever you want, and it's not a small thing. Trust me, I actually remember one Muslim woman saying that when I'm in the West, but and when I'm sort of wearing normal clothes, I feel like I'm wearing hijab, in the sense I'm covered and I'm safe. No one's gonna judge me. But when I'm in the Muslim world and I'm wearing hijab, I feel like I'm naked because everyone's eyes are on me. So don't take it for granted.
Mm-hmm. Well, to tag on to that, how can we as atheists wear our clothes and not get a stink eye? Because I tell you what, when I put an atheist T-shirt on, and not necessarily one that's snarky, but half of mine are snarky, I definitely see a difference in the way people interact with me. Now, if I put a cross on, if I put a little beanie on top of my head, or if I put on a hot hijab, people don't have it's not okay to call out that, but it's okay to call out atheism.
Yeah, this is interesting because when I was first kind of getting involved in the community, when I was first volunteering at the Atheist Community of Austin, I actually got an Atheist Community of Austin shirt. And I think I got one or two other things. I had like a street epistemology shirt and stuff. And when my mother found that, she instantly hid it from me. I don't even know where it is right now. But she didn't like me wearing that out in public and stuff. And I understand. I honestly, I wasn't even sure if I was going to wear it out in public anyway, because where I'm at, I wasn't sure if it was a good idea. But I think you're right. There is something to be said about how we wear our things. I think that comes from because, first of all, a lot of Christian people, especially in the United States, aren't really aware, one, that atheists exist and that we're all around them, but also that, we can get offended sometimes when people say things about us as a group because they don't realize that we're there. And so I think also wearing atheist shirts is an open rejection of someone's religious identity. To some people, it's kind of like saying, hey, not only do I think you're wrong, but I think you're stupid. And I'm confident enough of myself to wear a shirt that thinks like how stupid you are, basically. Even if you don't actually say that, there's a lot of projection that can go on when you see a shirt like that, even though you know, it's just a shirt. Like you said, I'm not going to be offended when a Christian is going to wear a Christian shirt because that's what they believe. I mean, that's just how they are. But you're right. There is kind of a double standard there a little bit. I don't know the best. I think if you are comfortable wearing your shirt and doing what you want in public, I say go for it. But for me, even me as someone who is like hosting a show here and stuff, like I even have trouble with that. And it's incredibly.
Your shirt is very offensive. It's got crosses all over.
It's the worst. It's so offensive. It's
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely difficult if you just put a red A on your lapel or the Happy Humanist. You know, people don't know what those. That's not making any kind of statement. I mean, it's just like, oh,
that's another thing too, because if I see a cross, I know what that means. There isn't anybody there are very few people in this country, let alone in most of the world, that don't know what that symbol means. If you show like a red A, if you show like the Happy Humanist symbol, like you said, like that's not even recognizable to a lot of people. Like they don't even know. Like you would offend somebody if they knew what it was, but if they don't even know what it was, it might not even offend them. You know?
Yeah. So how do you bridge that gap with without being overtly this is me?
It starts by wearing it out at the gym. You know, it starts by just
you know what you know what I've actually got my own T-shirt. And it's a picture of my logo, which is a sort of Muslim guy with a beard and a hat, and he's like this, whatever, and it's underneath it says haram in big caps lock letters. And I went to the gym wearing that. I got a few looks, but even one Muslim was like, yeah, that's not bad, you know, that's a pretty cool T-shirt. So you just got to play with it. I mean, just be confident. And, you know, if you've got a six-pack and a biceps, wear it to the gym. And if you haven't... That's what I was saying.
Show your dominance by wearing it at the gym and show people how strong you are. Yeah.
Then they won't mess with you. Then they most, you know, exactly, That's called militant atheism, by the way.
That's good. That's
all
good.
Right. Hopefully we can get a link in the chat for where I can pick one of those T-shirts up. Thanks.
Yeah, that'd be great. Guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe somebody in our live chat right now could hook us up with plugging your channel and showing that merch store. I would love to have a Truth Wanted merch store, but you got to email in about that so you can let the boys here know that there's a market for that and you people want it. So if you want to buy some Truth Wanted merch, please send us your inquiries at that can be at truth@atheist-community.org. That's the email to directly contact me about all show inquiries and things like that. Or if you have questions, you just want to talk to me, that's where I'm at. Thanks for calling, Malty. This was fun.
Thanks, Malty.
Yeah, the whole wearing stuff in public thing is awkward even for me now. Gotta say, it's I don't know where it's like. I mean, I'm assuming it's. I guess it's not worse where you're at. I don't know. I guess you're not really surrounded as much in Muslim community as you once were. So, you know, maybe wearing it isn't as much of a big deal for you. I don't know. How does that work for you?
I mean, it's funny because there are a lot of Muslims in London, and some areas are pretty much like 60-70% Muslim. But I wouldn't mind wearing it as long as it's in the daytime. I'm joking. I wouldn't mind wearing it because I think the T-shirt itself is cool and it's kind of lighthearted. It's kind of funny. It's not like Islam sucks or something like that. But it's funny because atheism has become, or atheist has become like a dirty word. Like if I were to wear a T-shirt saying only God can judge me, it's like, oh wow, that's so profound, man. Wow, this guy must really like cool or humble, or like him and God are like this. But if I say no one can, or if I say, you know, I don't believe in God, all of a sudden, like, whoa, this guy's a bit rude. Like, what the hell, man? Like, you know, keep your beliefs to yourself. But if someone wore a hijab or a turban or a cross, completely acceptable. So it's a funny thing. I think this will be a work in progress. You know, we're making small strides. And I say just make some really funny, cool T-shirts and wear them, something that's not in your face, but thought-provoking. And something that a believer wouldn't mind wearing. That's the challenge. So
yeah, I was thinking, I was like, you know, I wouldn't mind. I was trying to think, who would I let in my house? Like I would let somebody in a hijab in my house. I would let somebody wearing Christian T-shirts in my house. I was thinking, like, would I let somebody in my house with a T-shirt that says like "atheist sucks" on it, or like "atheism sucks" or something like that? And I was like, you know, actually, just for the humor value, I might just even allow that too. I think I'd wear a shirt that says that. I think that's funny, personally. I know some people wouldn't, but I don't know.
Or you could say atheist sucks less than religion. So it's just sort of, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, like there's a small print at the bottom that says like less than religion.
It's like that. I don't know if you watched that old Simpsons episode where they have that book. It's how to cook humans, and then you blow it. How to cook 4 humans.
Yeah.
And how to cook 44, whatever age ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could have that. So yeah.